Hey, Steve Mignani here, and this is the Barrett-Jackson crawl, I guess you might say. Of course, you all know me from Roadkill's Junkyard Crawl, and of course, Motor Trend's Steve Mignani's Supermodels, or my 7 years at Hot Rod Magazine. In fact, I joined Hot Rod in August of 1997 and left in January of 2004 and contributed to 77 issues. So I'm basically a magazine guy first and a TV announcer, host secondly. But anyway, for the last 16 years, I've also been part of the Barrett-Jackson broadcast, the live TV shows, and we've done 55 shows so far, auctions, that I've been a part of, going on 56. Now, this 56th auction coming up next week is going to be Barrett-Jackson's 50th anniversary celebration. It'll be in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it'll be on the FYI channel and History channel, starting on the 24th of January, the Monday, running through Saturday the 30th. So be sure to tune in. Now, a lot of people wonder, when I'm up on that block, how do I know all of that information? Well, I always like to say, fill your library before you fill your garage. And what I do is I make notes. I prepare for the auction. Now, it used to be the auction issued catalogs like this here. In the catalogs would be, pictures and descriptions of the cars being offered for sale. Well, these catalogs, for one thing, generally aren't available till the time of the auction. So in the weeks beforehand, you don't have access to them. And making notes for the auction literally takes me about an hour of preparation for every hour that we're on the air. So this is going to be a 44-hour marathon coming up next week in Scottsdale. So I've got about 44 hours of note-taking ahead of me. Now, here's the thing. What is a note? Well, for instance, these things, I've got hundreds of these. This is Las Vegas 2014. These are the notes that I made for that show way back when. And in these, what I do is for each vehicle, I just make some quick notes, something that the car won't tell us, and that the consignor's description, which is available to all the other team, Mike Joy and Rick DeBrule, Chris Jacobs in the old days, those notes are available to us in a big ring binder. Well, chances are somebody else is going to say that it's got the 383 or the T56 tranny or whatever it might be. So I want to have something different, something the car doesn't tell you on its own. And again, cars don't talk. So what I do is a week or two before the auction even happens, I go to the Barrett-Jackson website. And in here is all of the cars, the description, because after all, Barrett-Jackson wants bidders to understand what they're bidding on long before they show up, so they're fully educated and bid accordingly. So this comes up a couple of weeks, even a month before the actual auction. But here's the thing. The auction days begin, I think, at 10 in the morning and end at 9 or 10 at night, depending on the longest days. Sometimes they're shorter. But we're not always on the air for the entire time. So how do I know which cars to ignore, because we're not on TV, and which cars to study on? Well, we have a thing called the lot window list. And this is precious to me. This is basically provided to me by the producers of the show. It's a mathematical calculation. For instance, on Monday we start with lot number 1. We go to 100. Tuesday, lot 126 to 275, etc. Friday, lot 951 to 1175, etc. And so what I do is, for those lot numbers, I get online, I find whatever's cool about that car, and I write it down in my notepad. And the crazy thing is, about 40% of these handwritten notes don't get used because we go to commercial and it's random. We don't know when the commercials are going to happen. So 40% of this sit down, make the notes routine is kind of wasted. But I always say it's a pleasure to do the auction. And, it's better to over-prepare than to under-prepare. So that's kind of the secret sauce. Like, for instance, this is lot number 198. Let's go up here to that car. And again, the lots are all here. The vehicles, here's the description, lot 198, let's click on that. It's a 1953 MG TD Roadster. Pretty car, nice restoration, has the steel wheels, all that kind of stuff. And so, nicer restored car. So what I've chosen to say about this one is that between 49 and 53, there were 29,664 of these cars built. And of course, the MGTD replaced the MGTC, which preceded it. And one of the big things with this was that this had 15-inch steel wheels versus the 19-inch diameter wire wheels seen on the TC that came before it. So I make those notes real quick here, and even I said here the price on this was $1,945 in 1953, which was roughly a little over half the price of a Corvette. which was $3,498 in 1953. So you might say, would a Corvette buyer be a cross shopper for an MGTD? Maybe, maybe not, but the value was certainly there. The vet was almost twice as much as this. So those are the notes that I'll say on this car, which is lot 198, when it crosses the block on Tuesday, January, I guess 25th. So anyway, that's the behind the scenes on how do you know all that stuff? Well, I simply prepare. And like I say, I've got hundreds of these notepads that I've written over the years. And in fact, on my Instagram, I've actually sold these for 25 bucks a pop and sold like 3,000 bucks worth. So thank you all for buying those when you did. I sometimes do that when there's nothing else doing or going on, but in the meantime, I generally keep them. But I've got a bucket full of these things, but they're all hand generated by me. And some people say, why don't you just put this stuff into a computer base and do that? Well, for one, there's no computer this small that I could quickly put in my pocket or tuck away and just have on the block. It would be too big. It would probably crash, and beyond all that, you never know from one show to the next, like a 78 Camaro, there's 1,000 things you could say about it. So if you've done 55 auctions, well, you've got 55 things to say. So there's always something new to say about a car. Try not to repeat. So every auction's a brand new writing experience. And I do get writer's cramp. And my favorite pen of all is this, the Bic 4-Color. The beauty of these things is that they have 4 ink cartridges, and you just choose your color based on which button you push. And the nice thing with this is that in the heat of the moment on a live broadcast, sometimes you want the price or something to jump out at you because it's kind of frenzied when you're up there in live television. So this thing here, by writing something in red, it jumps out from the black ink surrounding it. So again, the note-making process is all about sitting here for 44 hours for the 44-hour broadcast in the weeks beforehand. So that's the story of the behind-the-scenes crawl for the Barrett-Jackson auction. If you get a chance, be sure to tune in, again, between Monday, January 24th and Saturday, January 30th, mostly on the FYI channel, but a lot of it also on History. The big days will be on History channel, and they're both great channels to watch. So be sure to tune in. And if you like what you're seeing here, of course, subscribe to the Steve Magnanti YouTube channel.